Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm back with a message for you. First and foremost, happy Leo season. It's official, and how fitting that I would stop shuffling on the Sun card, which is your ruling planet. So, happy birthday to all the lions and lionesses out there. I'm sure in true Leo form, you'll be celebrating all season long. Also, in cosmic current events, Venus, the planet Venus, which is the ruling planet of the sign of Libra, has officially gone retrograde in Leo. Yeah, as a matter of fact, in Leo. So that's going to be highlighting the aspects of love in our life, money, which we all love, and also partnerships. So, not necessarily love in the most intimate sense, but also partnerships in every way, shape, and form. And whenever there's a retrograde, it's a call for us to be introspective and retrospective, so that those areas of your life may be more focal at this time, for you to just deep dive and take true inventory of what's working for you, and what may be calling for some shift or change or even release altogether. But nonetheless, there will definitely be some big changes in the way of love, in the way of partnerships, and in the way of money, hopefully for the best, because it's in the sign of Leo, which was illuminated by the powerful source of the sun. So I definitely hope for the best outcome for you, but regardless of what it is, what it illuminates, what it exposes, receive it in the highest vibration as an invitation to shift for your greatest good. Because again, when we're in retrograde periods, it's change for purpose, so even if it doesn't necessarily feel comfortable, especially in ways of partnerships, relationships, or love, particularly those hot spots, literally, definitely embrace it and be embraced by it, as the universe is just looking to put you in the best possible position for prosperity, ultimately. Okay, so again, happy Leo season. Let's see what messages come up. Try to get something out quick and easy. And I feel guided to pull some of my son's sight words, because that was just really fun last time, but I think I'm gonna pull them after. We'll see how long this message flows, but if I can stop at a decent point, then I'll belabor it a bit more for the sight words and see what comes up. This is the Page of Wands, which is about new beginnings. I missed that bottom card, which could have been important, but I missed it. Yeah, waiting on some desirable outcome from a new beginning that's being accepted. So there's an invitation for expansion, and also to experience life, or to experience yourself in some new powerful way. And being a yes to that invitation is what affords some position of expectation, or this is the position of the new position of exploration, being this position of expectation, because of releasing some cycle of burdens that have just been, overweighing you, or outdated, outmoded, that have overstayed their welcome, or perhaps you have overstayed your welcome in some burdensome space and time, and now you're lightening your load to take a new leap of faith, a new journey, by way of some invitation to do so, or a message perhaps to do so, an offer to do so. And it seems like, a fresh beginning, a new beginning. But this Three of Wands card implies to me that it may seem fresh and new, but it also may be something that was preyed on, or again, like, what's the word I'm looking for? like manifested. You know, when you have the Three of Wands card here, that's something that you have already sent energy out for or made some plan of action for, and you're just waiting for the results of that returned energy expelled. You know, you've already done something to be in expectation, or for whatever reason there is an expectation, and here it is in the burdensome cycle, moving forward in whatever that return is, as justifiably ordained by the Most High, the universal order. Let's see. This is good. I like the energy of this so far. Let's keep it here, Spirit, because the last couple of messages have been kind of heavy for me. Not what I like to really tap into, but definitely check them out if you haven't already. See what resonates for you. But in true Leo form, we love vibration. Well, in the light of the sun, we love prosperity and productivity and high vibration. Keep it coming, Spirit. Keep it coming. All right, let's see what's that. Yep, and we got the Queen of Swords. We'll just keep it up here for now for as long as it fits. All right. The Queen of Swords, which is Queen of Swords, okay. And here's this at the bottom. Competition. But I feel like, you know, the Queen of Swords is an indication that the energy that I'm going to go out on the limb that you're sitting in is sharp. It's logical. It's intelligent, wise. You're willing and open to this journey, perhaps, but also very cautious, you know, because the Queen of Swords is like she has one hand open, but she also has that sword of truth. So in a sense, like discerning what is honorable for her journey. So even as these ships themselves are coming in, these opportunities are pouring in, she's sitting in a position of truth, knowing what to accept as a divine alignment, or even a divine aside, what aligns with her truth and what makes sense in her life, ultimately making head over heart decisions, meaning she's not emotionally bound, you know, making decisions out of emotional attachments and such, but still open enough to be you know, to be receiving of things that are emotionally or spiritually satisfying. So she's not detached in a way where she may miss the boat, but she's also not emotionally attached in a way that she would get swept up in some matter of competition or chaos on account of wanting to move forward or wanting some new change, you know, because as I said, it's like this has been a situation that a shift that's been prayed for or proclaimed or intentionalized in some productive way with the wand energy. There has been some action put forth for this change that is coming in. And sometimes when we're in a position where we desperately just want to do something new with this energy here, or have something new, or, you know, we're tired of the old, we could take anything coming our way. So things that aren't necessarily in alignment with our highest good and moving us forward productively can sometimes slip in through the cracks when we're just craving change or craving something new altogether. But the Queen of Swords, I think, is a very high vibrational position to be in, because as I said, that's making head over heart decisions, not being super emotionally attached or detached, you know, pretty balanced in the logic of life, and being as open to opportunities and possibilities as she is to what is in alignment with her truth and what makes sense for her move forward, you know. So not being swayed by conventions of society per se, like it has to make sense to her. which is a good space to be in, I think. Yeah. Okay, so what we got here? We got another page card. Yeah. Okay. So that's in alignment with what I just said. Like, this is like a restful state of being, or laying things to rest. You know, I'm looking at this page of Pentacles offer, especially with this being here, and here's the plan of action, peeping out under the deck. And here's the Judgment card. Oh, this is great. Okay, this is really good. Okay, so basically it's her, exactly as I said, being discerning enough to lay offers that are not sensational, you know, that are not full, you know, that are not big. And I'm trying to find a word because I don't want to disrespect the Page of Pentacles, because the Page of Pentacles, the pages in general, are not to be diminished as if the offer or the message doesn't matter. But when you have the page, the Ace of Pentacles coming up under the deck, to me that disparity is is prevalent for a reason. It says that there is a great difference between this offer, which is much smaller in comparison to the Ace of Pentacles, meaning that you're going to lay any opportunities or offers that come to the table that just aren't a match for you, that don't satisfy you holistically. Those are going to be laid to rest, and that you will be in a restful position on those offers. Like, you're not jumping at the first thing coming. You're not, you know, like I said, you're not pressed for anything in particular just on account of wanting a new beginning or to do something new or experience something new. It's very clear to the Queen of Swords from this position of planning and projecting what she's looking to receive. You know, she's already expecting something to come in at a certain caliber, a certain magnitude. And if it is showing itself in a page form at a Queen of Swords level, more than likely it's not a matchup. You know, it's not the highest value as in the Ace of Pentacles that you can receive. And look, behind that is the Seven of Swords. So again, you could get caught up just taking the first offer coming or the first opportunity that comes your way and miss out on something that is grand, that is of God, you know, that is that supreme seed or opportunity that ultimately is what was prayed for and what was expectant. And then here comes this page and it's like, okay, I'll take it. You know, the Queen of Swords is not doing that. Anything that is not in alignment with her, like this is here, this Four of Swords here, what is laid under this person that's in a restful state is the Ace of Swords itself. This Three of Swords, part of me, is representation of like past heartbreak or disappointment or even missed opportunity of some sort. She has the knowledge of her experiences, the wisdom of her experiences to know that if it's not high value, if it's not in alignment with what she has projected for herself and what she knows is to be expected, then it's, you know, it's a no thank you. You know what I mean? Like, that's just a kind no thank you. Like, no, I'm gonna just wait here. I'll rest and wait until I see what it is that I'm calling in, you know? And here it is with the Judgment card, that's being in a high position to make those judgment calls in divine, that it does absolutely bring in divine alignment against the things that are looking to obstruct your objectivity, you know, maybe distract you, throw you off course, veer your position in some other way. Because sometimes, like, just when you're about to break through, that's when adverse energy can send that test in. Like, you know you're looking for a certain position or a certain opportunity for whatever, creativity, whatever it may be. And here comes this job that is paying just a little bit more and they need somebody right away, and or maybe even be paying less, whichever it goes, but they need somebody right away and you're perfect for the position, so they say. But in actuality, it's not really a matchup for what you've already aligned yourself for. Like, you've already set the plan, as to what is going to make sense for your life. It needs to be this, it needs to be this amount of money at least, or more, or it needs to, not to say, like I said, she's also open to the shifts of that plan, but also being clear about and conscious about the things that sometimes we can settle for. Like, the Queen of Swords is not going to settle. That's what this is. There's no settlement happening for what she knows is due to her, because the Queen of Swords is the expert in her field, so she knows the value of the truth of her energy. She knows how intelligent she is, how skilled she is. She's the expert in her field or in her craft. So, it could be so-called the perfect position, or something that could come quickly, and maybe she really would love to be able to start something quickly, or make a move quickly, or just excited to start something new as soon as possible. But there's one caveat, some fine print, buried somewhere under the surface that you didn't quite connect to, and all of a sudden you're locked in a contract, and because you're caught up in this contract, you miss the opportunity for this one, or you're already committed to something that is not holistically satisfying, and meanwhile this opportunity doesn't have a space to let you in, or to be received, to get in there. So smart judgment calls, keeping your boundaries firm, and keeping your what do you call it, like your what am I trying to say, like your I can't think of it, like your whatever you set for yourself, your list, or your I really can't think of it. It's crazy. Like your standard. God, thank you. Keeping your standards strong. Like not settling too far out of the lines and the bounds of the standards that you've set for yourself. Setting high standards, as a matter of fact, and not accepting anything less than what's coming to the table. And that's the Justice, and that's the High Priestess, who's in alignment enough to know that certain offers are, no matter how fierce and fantastic they may appear to be, are just not for you, for her. She can definitely be selective. She has that right and that value to be selective, because she's earned the right to be. Let's see. What's that? Yeah. And we got let's keep it under today. Yeah, we got the Five of Pentacles, and we got the Temperance card. Yeah, because there may be an opportunity to be released. I feel like it's the anti of this essence of what I'm talking about here, and the Seven of Swords on the bottom of the deck. Those smaller opportunities that may look shiny and appealing, may ultimately lead to poverty, in the sense here with the Five of Cards, where they may be lacking something, even if it doesn't necessarily lead to poverty in the material sense. It could be lacking something that is of high value to you, but because you were willing to just take the first thing coming, and this could be relationships, an offer of, because this Ace of the Page of Pentacles versus the Ace of Pentacles could absolutely be an offer, a proposal of sorts, a proposition for commitment, or creativity, co-creativity, and it could be exciting to consider because it's new and fresh, and that's what the Queen of Swords is in position. Okay, so what I'm hearing is just be aware that the offers that are coming through of our range of natures, as they should be, because you're in the Queen of Swords position, who, as I said, in an exalted position of creativity. So she should be receiving, there should be a line, around wrapped around the block to align with her in some way, shape, or form. But because of the position of power that she holds and the responsibility that she has, it's even a greater accountability to really discern what she aligns with. And some of those offers that look good might not necessarily lead to a holistic state of happiness. And that's what the Five of Pentacles is given to me. It's like there's something lacking. There's something to be desired in this Page of Pentacles. And thinking about it from a relational point of view and how the Queen of Swords can be detached, sometimes Page of Pentacles offers can look like something that is familiar to you, something that almost pulls on your heartstrings because of the supple nature of it, maybe even a past a relationship, or someone that holds can really play on your heartstrings in a sense because of the position that they're in this sense, almost being a position of one in need. Okay, I get it. Someone that is of I don't want to say of lesser value in a derogatory sense, but someone that is that could benefit greatly from what you have to offer. And the Queen of Swords, unlike the Queen of Cups, who is a bit more emotionally based, she's not so easily swayed by those heartstring offers. It's like, yeah, you're a cute kid, you know what I mean? But nah, I'm sorry, I can't give to that cause, or I can't contribute to that, purpose in a way that is in alignment with my integrity, even if it's something that I could see myself having a huge impact on or in, it ultimately, and here this is again, like this hidden, some people could be fronting their offers with some value that is emotionally manipulative. That's what I'm hearing. Even using children, and I'm saying using children because it might not actually be that in a physical sense, like propping children up as some front for your exchange of energy, but that's the essence of it, where most people, their hearts are softened to the needs of children, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna give an example in a sec, but most hearts are softened to the needs of children, so there's some front of need, or there's some front, for these offers that are ultimately really just fueling the emotional attachment of sorts to help you kind of put your sword down and be less defensive. Yes, like a front on your defenses, so that maybe if they use something a little more vulnerable, a little less I'm having a hard time talking today, but if there's something that's a little bit less threatening, there we go, that's presented to you as this front of the offer, then maybe, just maybe, your heartstrings will be tugged just a bit to be in alignment with it, or to be in agreement with it. And what you'll find on the other end of that is that it actually is not what it's cracked up to be. There's much more of it to be desired, much more, something more volatile at the core of it all, that could be more of a destructive force against your position, your integrity, like aligning with something that you think is one charity, but in the background, saying that they're helping children, but in the background, they're actually hurting children. And that's why I'm gonna stop right here and say what I'm gonna say. Last night, I was watching, well, it was pretty much this morning, but I was led on YouTube to watch this clip, and I usually don't even tap into like government and congressional type stuff, but it was a clip about some entities in Congress accusing Biden of allowing human trafficking. They didn't say child at first. It was about human trafficking at the borders, right? And it's clearly like it was more of a Republican-led initiative. You know, you can get the vibe of it. And I'm either or. I'm a registered Democrat, but I'm on nobody's side when it comes to the judicial system in this country, you know. But what happened is, as I was watching, first it was just the men, and they were coming up and they were expressing their grievances with this administration, and you know, selling this idea of the dangers of this border crisis and what's happening and what's not happening. It was all really more about public safety, and they were throwing out the buzzwords about drugs and fentanyl. It was all these like buzzwords they were throwing out, and the whole time I'm just sitting there like, this is actually a thing. I know that it is. I know that people are definitely being exploited and extorted in these, you know, these governmental power plays. You know, humans are definitely they're being used at the cost of, you know, government disorder, you know, for lack of a better word. But it just felt like they were trying to sell me something. And then the clincher was this woman who was obviously some congressional leader or senator or something. I don't know even what her position was, but she was speaking very, very emotionally about the children in particular, and how she saw two little baby shoes at the border, and she knows that they have an attachment to some child. And she saw, like, she was given all these depictions of these deplorable things about children that, you know, at first hearing will definitely pull on your heartstrings and sway you in a type of way. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, will somebody please think of the children? What was that? I think that was a Simpsons episode or something. But yeah, and she would like all the pulling a lifeless pregnant woman from the water, you know, who was pregnant with twins. Now, how the hell you know she was pregnant with twins? You know what I mean? And it was just all these images that she was throwing out there, and she was speaking not as professionally and contained and poised as the men who had presented their case. It was like she was intentionally, she even made reference to herself as a mama. I'm a mama, you know, so we know who she's tugging on from that perspective, the hearts of women. So to me, like, I listened to it, and then after her, I just turned it all off, and there was much more left to watch. But in my mind, I was like, see, once again, using the feminine energy as some femme fatale force, you know what I mean? Because if I was not a Queen of Swords, or not in my Queen of Swords energy at that time, I would have immediately bought into it, like, oh my God, what's going on? And don't get me wrong, I know that there's some value and truth in everything that everybody was saying, you know, but when you consider the intention behind this proposition, this propaganda, so to speak, you know, it wasn't, you know, talking about selling children for $81 into slavery and into servitude, and I know it's happening, but it was more so about, why are you telling me this now? What do you have to gain from pulling on my heartstrings to align with your agenda? Is it really the contempt for what's going on in the world and how humans are, you know, being desecrated in extremely inhumane ways? Or is it that you just want people to be on board with this anti-Biden you know, campaign that you're running here, which coincidentally is just in time for the election year, you know? So it's like, you got to really watch. And I guess that speaks to things on a personal level and on a universal and general level, where there are people in your life that are going to be looking to pull on your heartstrings for some purposes to, get over or pull wool over your eyes or be deceptive in some way, shape, or form. And they'll use your most vulnerable position to do so. They'll pull on that squishy part of you that wants to be of service, that wants to be of help or of value to others, and they'll push that agenda to the forefront just for the purposes of ultimately just garnering your buy-in, your acceptance, or your connection to whatever it is that they're consciously creating. So I know I'm saying that for a reason, but it's happening on a personal level and a universal level. So don't get finessed ultimately, because just as much as it's happening around you with people and people that you love and things that are familiar to you and that know you very well, on a greater scale, more macro scale, they also know that to rally up a mother's cry, a mother's plight, and to, pierce her at the heart, in the heart space, is a sure way to rope her in, like, rope a feminine force in, who is that emotional drive and fuel for whatever agenda they're ultimately running here. And that's the thing that you don't see. But what they will show you is how you should feel. You know what I mean? How this is deplorable, and how you should be in alignment, and almost make you feel like you're out in the cold if you're not in alignment with this case or this agenda, because this is the right thing to do. This is the humane thing to do. Be very careful in the media right now with how governmental entities and positions of power and authority are trying to sway your energy for their own personal projection, for their own personal promotion in many ways. And then the Temperance card here is like the angelic force that's balancing all of that out, so that if you're in alignment with it, your highest vibration, not just, like I said, these are cups energy just flying off the handle. You have to almost be indifferent at this time, because the truth of the matter is we are seeing a lot of deplorable things happening in our country, in our world, some in our families, some in our cities, in our towns, in our states. It's happening on every level. But you have to really be mindful of how you truly get to be of value to that and contribute to it in a way that is fortifying, protective of your prosperity and your position of power, but that's also impactful in a holistic way, not just adding to some consciousless cause, you know what I mean, because someone is swaying you to do so. That's on every level. And also in that same vein, there are opportunities that are pouring in that are putting many people in positions to be of value in a significant way. And there are a lot of people that need help, or that look to be in a position of neediness and look to be in a lesser position than you. And I've said this before, but you have to really be in alignment with who is your assignment to help. Everybody's not your assignment. That's family, friends, foes, and the like. Everybody is not assigned to be the beneficiary of your blessings. Everybody is not in the aligned space to even receive what you could offer, if you could offer it, if you offered it. Imagine sowing a seed into this position, which this is not just about being poor like I said, in a material sense. It's about being poor in spirit. So you can't be sowing into people that still have you can't just be throwing away money, particularly into people that are not poised to cultivate that land, to cultivate that seed, just giving out money to family and friends because you see there's a need there, giving away fish, but not necessarily contributing to helping them learn how to fish, ultimately helping or inspiring people to release themselves from these impoverished mindsets and spirits about money and wellness and life itself. A seed sown into this ground, this is snow. You know what I mean? And what land does crop grow in the snow? I don't know of any. I'm not a farmer, but that's not known to me as a thing. So it's like the land is cold, it's not inhabitable, it's not fruitful in the position that it's in. Just as you yourself had to go through some tests and trials and some transformations to be good soil for seeds to be sown, you have to allow others to kind of do that cultivation themselves consciously and present themselves in a position to be ready to receive the seeds that you would willingly sow on any other occasion, And it doesn't mean that people that are in an impoverished state of being materially are only impoverished in the mind. I could speak firsthand for that. There are circumstances that put people in positions such as this that are just uncontrollable or that have been involuntary. However, it's up to you to discern what your value added is really going to produce. You can give it, you can certainly give it, but will it be productive ultimately for you and for them? Because like I said, you can give a man a fish. What is that saying? You can give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. You can teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime. When you can show someone the way to prosperity, which is a very spiritual essence first and foremost, that can save a lot. That can save a life, and that's the balance here. This temperance energy, how to balance the cup, that ethereal and earthly energy to make it something that is, exalted in a sense. That's the seed that's what the ground you want to sow into. And if you can do that, then you can save someone from themselves ultimately, or save yourself from the betrayal of throwing away, pearls to swine, and not in any derogatory sense, but just it being that you're sowing seed into ground that is not fertile for that cultivation, So just, you got to be discerning. You got to be discerning, because you mess around and give all your blessings away on account of wanting to help and heal and, feeling obligated to, even because of the attachments, the connections, the energetic connections, the emotional connections that you've that have been forged either familiarly or that have been forged, fraudulently, for lack of a better word. That's 5. I'll take it. Yeah, and this is the state of confusion that's being that is being cleared up. You know what I mean? And also, let me get these out. Yeah. And we have, I was tempted to move that line up some, but I'm not going to. I'll just do this. So we got Justice is back on the bottom of the deck, and the Queen of Wands and Queen of Swords. Yeah, she knows the truth of her power. She knows what to do with it and what not to do with it. She's wise in her decision making. It's just almost it's like a confirmation of the Queen of Swords here. This embodiment here is not only knowing the truth, but knowing how to act, react, and respond to the truth, and that's the justice. It's justified for you to take the position that you're taking because you have earned the position that you're in. You don't owe anything to anyone, the government, society, even. You don't owe to your family, your friends. You don't owe to strangers on the street. You don't owe anything. What is incited in you to do, and from between you and your highest self, is between you and your highest self. But it's not from any, it shouldn't be from any impulse of guilt or shame or anything like that. Like I said, like people trying to make you do something on account of you feeling like you should. That's not how this works. That's not how this world is working now. You don't have to do anything that is not in alignment with who your highest self is calling you to be and who your highest self is calling you to serve. So we got the Seven of Cups, which is a lot of decision making or even some confusion and illusion about decisions. We got the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, like people holding on to your energy particularly. And we got transformation of investments and then judgment. All right, Spirit, what's this saying? So there's some that I'm still seeing the balance here, that the balance is happening before you, for you, on account of what to invest in. Yeah, so like, and it's under the Queen of Swords. So it's just reiterating my point about being discerning about your investments and your attachments, because people are holding on to your energy in this, and at this state of rest, still trying to, attach themselves to the value of you, and trying to figure out what offers they can make to stay attached and aligned, for at whatever cost, because ultimately this is the demotion or the regression of this Five of Swords. It's like the holding on is people, this card is giving me people that are still holding on to material gain and material essence. The Four of Pentacles can be someone that's conservative, but it's just giving me just being too materially focused in life, counting every penny, worrying about every dollar coming in, coming out. Like it's a downgrade to this energy here, even in a sense, even though it doesn't look like it. There it is. It might not appear to be impoverished or poor in spirit or even actually poor, but it ultimately is, because when this is like a lack mind perspective, the way it's coming off right now, that when you are holding on to every penny as if that's the projection of your value, that's what you're limited by. So there's a need for transformation, or just an altogether end and death to those offers. Like as soon as they even come to the table, it's like immediately like, we're not connecting to that. When you notice that someone is just too focused on the bottom line and there's no spirit, no essence of spirituality and true value to what they're offering or what they're even asking. It's just about money. How can I make money? How can I align with you to make more money? How can I benefit from what you're doing to make more money? Like those offers are a dead end. They're leading to a dead end, and they should be put to rest, as in here, literally laid to rest accordingly, because those investments don't fare very well. This is a Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, call judgment on it, and in a temporal way. It doesn't mean that because it's no good for you that it's demonic per se. You know what I mean? It just means that it doesn't align with what you feel called to do and led to do. And ultimately, it's because like you have to watch your investments, and stay balanced. This is. Oh, this makes so much sense. And sometimes I say stuff and then I'll look back and like, oh, that was a connection, because as I said, the spirit of cosmic force that we're in now is Venus retrograde. So these are the opportunities. Oh my gosh, the pulling on your love strings, your love vibration for some objectifiable cause. People looking to be in alignment with you, in partnership with you for some personal reason or for some ulterior motive, and using love as the energy, the vibration to cultivate that connectivity. These are those energies coming out here now, and the Justice card is what really triggered it for me, because Venus energy and Libra energy is obviously about maintaining balance, in all things, So pardon me, it's the judgment for those things that are going to put, and money, money is obviously a Venus, oh, that was my stomach. I hope, I hope you didn't hear. Money is also a Venus essence as well. So the reason why it's important to really watch your spiritual alignments, your intimate alignments, your familial alignments, your friendly alignments, investments, and everything of the like, energetically, physically, mentally, and otherwise, every sense of the word, is because things are coming back around in true retrograde form. They are presenting themselves as something new, as something advanced, as something fresh, new opportunities, people presenting themselves to be changed and renewed in some way that may be deceiving, may be confusing, and may confuse you as to the decisions that you should make on account of that connectivity. But the judgment is here, even under the temperance. That's like double angel energy, back stacked up right here to protect your investments. It's being done for you, but you still have the responsibility and accountability in the earthly sense to do what the ethereal is doing for you, which is ultimately to lead with truth and to stay balanced in all things, in mind, body, spirit, mind, and body, to create balance in your life. So that might mean saying no to some people, places, and things that you love. That might mean saying no to opportunities that look good and sound good, but aren't quite making the mark. That might mean disconnecting from some associations. With the judicial card here, the justice card here, me speaking about that experience I had watching that YouTube video. It might mean to disassociate from some connections or some associations or commitments that maybe once upon a time made sense. Like I was saying, like I've always identified as a Democrat, but now I probably won't even vote, to be honest, in this coming election, because looking at the landscape as it is, it doesn't look very promising on either side, and you can say what you want about me and rock the vote and this and that. I have voted and I have believed in voting and the power of it, but you have to be careful what you align your energy with. And I've spoken about this before in this day and age, because your alignment is agreement. So even if you are so-called choosing the lesser of the two evils, whatever those end up being, that's still you aligning your energy in agreement with that agenda, and ultimately being a contributing force to whatever that gets to play out to be, So this is good. This is real good. And we're in an election year, so all of that is coming to the surface. It is this year, isn't it? Or is it next year? I think it's this year. That's how disconnected I am from it all. Like, I don't even give a damn, to be honest. Yeah, so, it's judgment called on all of that. Here's the judgment. And this is victory and success on account of good judgment calls made in spirit and in truth. So like I said, you could be being swayed to align with some agenda because of how it's being presented to you. And here is the greed card or overindulgence card. And that is exactly what I'm saying here. Like people that are just looking to siphon your energy, that are looking to for you to ultimately be their sacrificial lamb for their own agendas, and here you are innocently thinking, oh, well, I just want to vote, I just want to be counted, I just want to add value to my nation, to my country, whatever, and you're actually being a contributing force to the cycles of death ultimately that are being perpetuated. For instance, with the whole border situation I was talking about, you go run and carry a stake against Biden because of what's being proposed to you or projected to you as some evil, and ultimately you could align yourself with those that are actually in alignment with that said evil, actually, intentionally. And the fact of the matter is, what's sad to say is that the United States, as it's been uncovered, is the highest market for child trafficking in itself, not to mention human trafficking and harvesting of all sorts in general, but specifically child trafficking. Americans are the number one clientele for that commodity. Consider that. So it's not just that type of thing doesn't just happen on a lower levels, underbellies of society. That happens from the highest aspects of society, from some of these very same leaders that are proclaiming some vengeance against these situations are the ones that are actually championing it in other ways, in other policies, and other facets, even when they don't necessarily have the intention to. But some of the policies that are imposed upon the people themselves are contributing to these forces of that create situations that make children vulnerable to such atrocities. The poverty in the country itself, the limitations on certain marginalized peoples and things of that nature are what create the essence and prime the land for these atrocities to ultimately take place. And the ones that are paying for it are not, living around in your neighborhood. These are ones that have the money and the resources to have access to this dark exchange of energy at, the highest level and at the lowest level of which they're offered, and that have the power and the position to cover it up, or to steep it in law and in other things that kind of almost make it legal for it to take place, you know what I mean, or at least make it harder for it to be prosecuted. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta be careful. You think you're doing yourself a service and you're actually contributing to the problem. And that's on a macro scale. Yeah, and here's the world card trying to slip out. And that's on a macro scale and on a micro scale. One more, and that was the Ace of Cups. I'm sorry, the Page of Cups, which is totally representative of a child. And child energy came up. The only thing that didn't come up was the Page of Swords. Oh, and I just saw him. There he is. There he is. So every aspect of children is out here, and I'm not saying that is the focus of this read at all, but it just happens that it was connected to what I saw this morning, and something that actually has been pulling on my heartstrings, but in a more intentional way. I know it's divine because, of how I feel allegiance to it. And it's not going to be me rallying up with some governmental cause, of sorts. It's going to be how I can impose and impress true change by way of making, that's defeated, because that's not even. You could give to every charity. Like I said, you could give to a cause or a charity or contribute your energy to such a cause and it not even be disseminated properly. It could be used to destroy the very aspect that you're looking to affect, in a positive way. I'm looking to be a leader and energetically and a champion for children, not just of, actual child nature, but those that have even been underdeveloped in their spiritual nature to know the truth of their identity and their power and their force of creativity to create institutions in the actual sense, but establishments that would benefit the children in particular, but beyond children, that would benefit those that have been underdeveloped in their power, to be a contributing force to helping people expand their creative consciousness and their contributions to society in a way that truly will trickle down. You don't know where your vote gets lost in the system, your allegiance and your alignment, but when you create something that is lasting, of light and of love, and you create opportunities for luxury in the world in the actual sense and in a spiritual sense, first and foremost, that's something that can be make an impact beyond your pockets, your life, your wealth. You know, that's seed sown into good soil to actually teach people how to be great, you know, how to be powerful, and to be an example of how that gets to look, you know, in real form, in actual human form, and that leading with that inspiration as an energetic force, but then also building the infrastructure to support that in an actual humanistic material way, you know. And I ain't gonna give up all my you know, my visions right now, but just know, like, the way that I'm looking to invest in this world is something that is really going to be impactful, and that is already impactful just by my very presence as it is. You know, me saying the things that I'm saying is making an impact and an impression, and I think it's important for me to say that the way you express yourself and the truth that you stand on is more impactful than any vote could ever be. How you live in the way you walk the, you know, and here this is again, the way you walk the walk, you know, talk the talk and walk the walk, really and truly the truth of who you are is much more impressionable than any, like, you know, societal collective force that you could align yourself with, point blank period. Okay, so let me just get one more just to finish this little, and I don't think I'm gonna do the words today because I don't know, I just feel like it's long enough. Yeah, and that the counterpart of the queen of the queen of wands that came out here is the king of wands here, and facing the world card is this new projection of power, almost as I was speaking, of a new way to live life, you know, to live in the power of creativity. That's what the king of wands is. He's a protector. He's a what do you call it? He's a conqueror, you know. And look, he's looking at the world in its new form on the other side of the world. This is like looking back, but the world is moving forward. And the energies in the earth that are going to survive with that new world order truly are the ones that are going to be exercising their fullest power of creativity, you know, in spirit and in truth, that are willing to be transformed from these childlike positions of, you know, feeling they have very little to offer, and even from this position of depression and depletion and not feeling like you have value to add to society, to knowing that your power fully and completely, you know, in a masculine energy. This force knows, it's proactive about its projection, its power, its force, its creativity. The feminine aspect is more a receiver, but the masculine aspect is willing to get up and do something about what it is passionate about. That's perfect. That's perfect. The passion is what drives the force. And that's the new world order, to connect with that innate passion that's been you know, that's been erected, for lack of a better term, with the King of Wands, and you, that's been it's not erected that I wanted to say. It's like, you know, it's been not exalted, but, you know, aroused. Even, I'm saying all of these words that I'm not trying to say, but it's like a force that was dormant in you with this death card that's being resurrected in a sense, you know, back to your truest form of power and creativity and life force that was once upon a time diminished by the ways of society, by, you know, personal experiences, just by the depression of evolution in its purest form, by the powers that be and forces that be that could benefit from this state of being where you don't feel like you have any value to offer. It's time's up for that, and the world is turning. The judgment's been called on those energetic forces, and now people are being set free to really move into this new vibration of power and authority over their own lives, and to ultimately be the agents of change that they wish to see for themselves in the world, in spirit and in truth. Powerful, right? Yeah, and the moon card is here because the energies of this are this, this moon energy, which has been kind of, not really knowing why under the surface. And this is like the adverse of the sun energy, which is what we started with. That's powerful. That's dope. Which is, vitality and productivity and life force. It's prosperity. It's growth. It's all the light of life being projected in its fullest capacity, its highest vibration. This is almost the adverse of that. When you're moving in darkness, you're aligning with agendas that are lower vibrational in nature. Not that the moon itself is, but in comparison to the energies. Like and look at these howling at the moon. That's not the energy of the sun. The sun was a baby, fresh, on a horse, sunflowers in the back. It's like you don't know what you're aligning with these darker energies and forces that we've been conditioned to contribute to, let alone to commit to. It's time for you to really take inventory over the cups that have been spilled, not in the sense of regret and remorse, but really taking notice of what you have contributed to in dark spaces, and unbeknownst to you, ultimately, what your energy has been a contributing factor to, and turn around to see the value that still remains, where you can align in a new and powerful, empowered way, an empowered force, back to that position of the example of voting. You don't even really know what you're voting for. You don't even really know the candidates that you're voting for. Now people are being exposed in the light, but still not everyone and not everything. You don't even really know the agenda that you're aligning with in these established constructs of society that we've been conditioned to contribute and to conform in. So you don't even know that you're contributing and fueling the very force that is keeping you in this energy of depression and depletion as it is here. Now we're being offered the opportunity to recognize our force individually and how that force alone is contributing to the wellness of the whole. And although it might seem like a small contribution in the grand scheme of things, a small investment, a small offer that you have to make in the grand scheme of the world itself, it actually is a mighty one. The disparity here between this, these energies here, well, even here and here and here and here, the beginning and the end, ultimately, where you're the page of wands, not just recognizing your power of creativity and the impact that you make, and realizing how it can affect you personally, and then realizing how it can affect your environment and does impact your environment, is a commodity of your environment. Now on this level, it's time to see how it affects the universal order in a big way. And because you have that position of self-awareness, now you have the position of accountability and authority to wield that power in the most responsible sense, period. And I'm gonna just leave it there. And I'm not gonna do any words because I said too much already, probably really and truly. But that's that on that, and I hope that you are making powerful positions about the possession of your power today and forevermore from this day forward, okay? Because it does matter, you matter, and you make a tremendous impact, not only on your life and the life that surrounds you most intimately and immediately, but on the fantastical force that is the universal order, all right? So until next time, peace.